Thank you very much for this wonderful introduction. It's also my pleasure to be part of this symposium. Can you hear me? To be part of this symposium, about cultural diplomacy. And as you just got from the introduction, I'm scientist, and I just stepped in to give a talk because Mark asked me to do that yesterday. And I said, okay, I'm not a politician, I'm not I'm not diplomat and so on and so forth, but nevertheless, it's about development and so on. And because science and technology is at the center of any type of developments, even doing music as we just enjoy it, even doing whatever, we have to account for any development in science. Now, if your science and technology is well developed, therefore the other parts of the culture, the other parts of everyday life will be also accordingly developed. And that's why I said, okay, that's a good opportunity, and I have to step in. And that's the reason why we are now going to discuss the influence of cultural diplomacy in science and technology right now. And as they already said, I have been involved in also capacity buildings in Africa, particularly in African Institute of Mathematical Science, and also in the African University of Science and Technology. But the motivation of my talk is mainly based on two observations which are pretty much more obvious to everyone here. The first observation, I would say, the first observation is that, as we all know, the African countries, most African countries are underdeveloped. They undergo several severe economical problems to the point that people are starving, people are dying, there are a lot of troubles. We all know this. This is one observation that every one of us actually know here. And as we also have learned from many discussions since yesterday, that this country, in fact, this continent, although they are subject to this type of poverty, they are not totally poor. The second observation that motivates my talk is about cultural diplomacy. Cultural diplomacy has been discussed quite a lot in Africa. There have been meetings like this one organized in Europe, in Western countries, in Africa. The strategies to get developed are not what is missed in Africa. They basically know precisely what to do in order to get developed. But the question now is why this cultural diplomacy that accounts for strategies and all the like seems to be not working in Africa, because the result is they are not developed, right? And is it because science and technology, which is at the center, is failed to get established in Africa? Or is it because Africans are not capable of taking part into the development of science? These are the questions that came to the motivation of this. But because we move into the main topic, I found it interesting to show the basic mechanism that is at the origin of any development. So we all agree, we all know that without scientific research, scientific undertaking, it is difficult to get developed. The basic mechanism would be just simply that one. As you can see, first of all, one has to get great ideas. You have to know what to do. Then when you get great ideas now, what comes next is the methodology. You have to analyze it, how to find the efficient way to analyze the problem. And then to doing this, you have to have good people. You have to have good people. You also have to have money to make it work. And afterwards, you have to judge if this is done like that, then you have to expect some output. And when it comes to the output, we ask the following question, whether our output is applicable or not. And when it's not applicable, it's not a problem, because it's contribute to the science to develop. Just imagine that we are enjoying the beauty of technological applications like mobile phones and all the like. But now that we are enjoying this, scientists are still working on getting it improved. The things which are not applicable, they try to improve it, and then in the next 2-3 months, you get new mobile phones and you get new computer, you get new stuff, and it's always like going on like that all the time. So then people are not sleeping. I mean, developed countries are not sleeping. And so when the result is then applicable, fine, then okay, we call for technicians and engineers and all these people to achieve the development. That this is the basic mechanism of development. And I'm showing this just because we are underdeveloped. Africa is underdeveloped, and is it because we miss these basic elements or not? So next, before I move to the main topic, I mean to the main discussion, one example of the research and development is the genesis of internet, for instance. So, this started in 1969, and the U.S. Defense Department didn't have an idea to create internet. Also, no, they really wanted to save their data because they were scared that if they bomb where they have stored their data, they will lose them completely. And then they called for scientists to find a way to put the data in such a way that if they even bomb an entire building, they will always get their data safe. That's the origin of internet, and that's one interesting application of research. So then, the question that we have the problem that we are now trying to discuss now, I have tried to put it into four questions. Like the first one is, do African decision makers believe in science and technology? That's one question, because we don't get it while we are still underdeveloped. The second one is the African continent rich enough to sustain scientific research? So why not? Why the technology transfer? Why technology transfer is not that successful in Africa? Although we know that, they are good Africans, they are people, they have been culturally diplomatic in this sense, discussions all around, and we don't know this. The answer, maybe you have to have good ideas about that. The third one is, does African continent have experts for scientific research and technology? So these questions have also been raised yesterday, and I think this is one of the major issues. And finally, I will ask the following question: is there any hope? I wish you just want to complain all the time like that, or is there some sort of hope for Africa? So with this, I move to the very first question. I will be a bit faster there because the interactive panels have to follow up afterwards. So do African decision makers believe in science and technology? My answer to this is not at all. The point is they seem to be very, very skeptical. They do not, both of them travel to Western countries, and then they found that it is like, how to say this? Yeah, it is it should be like that. I mean, Africa should be poor, and the Western countries should be developed. And also, when the scientists also failed to answer the question, because they always ask the question, "What is your science going to provide us?" And the scientists usually do not have the correct answer to convince them that they have to do scientific research, because in general, you can't, as a single scientist developing one thing, contribute to just creating this microphone alone. It's a contribution of many, many, many persons. So then the next question is the African continent rich enough to sustain scientific research? This question has been already answered. It's The answer is we are more than enough. And this is all clear to everyone today. And even in this morning, the ambassador said it's incredibly, from the north to the south in Israel, it's really rich everywhere in Africa. We also have agriculture, which is really, the climate is favorable to agriculture. We also have the possibility for breeding animals and all the like. And the raw materials are everywhere, as you can see in this African map. So you have oil, gas, everywhere, coal, gems, metals, uranium, and so on and so forth. So it's not a matter of money. They are really rich enough, but they have to do something to get also developed. So the last but one question is, does African continent have experts for scientific research and technology? So the answer is obvious, yes. There are many, many experts all around the world. Most of them are in rebellion Western countries. They don't return home. And the reason is also obvious because there is not a good planning for bringing all these experts back home to develop the country. And the government, the politics, is not also doing well in that respect in order to bring these guys back home. So then, now that you have been complaining and so on this, so is there any hope then for Africa? It's not like it's our fate or what? No, there is a big hope. And one of the reasons that we should hope is that during the last 10 years there have been a lot of big move in Africa in terms of creating institutions, universities, where they get students at the level of master degrees and get professors from all around the world to come and teach them and to give the know-how at the level comparable to Western countries. So one example, I have chosen two examples. One is the African University of Science and Technology in Abuja, where I have been also contributing for the last 4 years. So there you have, as you can see here, the departments of all the articulations of science. I mean, computer science, material science, petroleum, pure and applied mathematics, theoretical physics, business, innovation, energy, environment, biological science, and so on. And this is really, the level there is really high. And also the infrastructures are incredibly high at the level of the Western country, which is a good example to copy. And they have to expand this. This is just a tour in the campus. You see how they get students from all around Africa. And yeah, just an image of a classroom. They are well equipped there and have library. And they have graduation dates and so on and so forth. The second example is this African Institute for Mathematical Science in Cape Town, which was founded in 2003 by the Neil Gifford Turok. He's from South Africa, physicist, and he's now director of the Perimeter Institute of Waterloo in Canada. He's a great scientist. And this guy got the money from his family, and then he initiated this institute, which has been really, really successful since its creation, because they have got more than 500 good guys from these institutions. This is meant for building science in Africa. You have a well-established program like great institutions here, like the Max Planck Institute and so on. They have a world PhD program, which they're running, the postdoctoral programs, research grants, research chairs also are sitting there. They also have a very, very strong visiting program. So then, since the time is we are running out of the time already, so they are also teaching or forming these guys in all the areas of the developments. I mean, accounting, banking, computing, engineering, all this stuff. Then they are accounting for this. And in 2008, Neil Turok received the third prize, and he actually said, okay, this is a good opportunity. I will expand the aims in all Africa. And he said he wished to find the next Einstein in Africa. That's the idea behind this. And from 2000 to 2023, he really want to, Neil Serok, which is the director of Perimeter Institute, he really want to get the next Einstein in Africa. He believes this. And I was also in one of the meeting creating the AIMS in Africa, where Nobel Prize winners were also there. They also really believe that something might happen in Africa, and that's the big move, which is actually there in Africa. So they want to create 15 AIMS until 2023. The Model Institute is in South Africa, as I said already, and the next one has been created in Senegal, and then afterwards the one in Ghana, and last year the one in Cameroon was created, and today they are now they are launching the Tanzania one, and it will go on like this up to 15 in 2023. So there with this, it's just a proof that there is a big move in Africa. This has to be going like this, and the politicians have to contribute also, because as we learned from many discussions today, and since yesterday also, it is not that someone is going to come and help Africa solving their problem. No, no one will. They can give you aid, but they do not. They wouldn't actually go into doing everything for you. No, don't ask that much. Then Africa have to understand that they have also to find their own great strategies to get the thing done. So with this, thank you for your attention. And